Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we are going back in for one, unfortunately, final time in the Heliod's event. This one has been a lot of fun for me, honestly. For those who didn't watch the previous video, this event is all about this Immortal Sun emblem. So, if you don't know what the Immortal Sun does, it's a perfect emblem of that card. It says that players can't activate Planeswalker's loyalty abilities, so for the most part, every single Planeswalker in this format has gone. Not many people are going to be trying to play them. The only ones you're really going to see are the War of the Spark passives on occasion, and I mean very rare occasions. Narset is actually one that's just completely banned, so you really have nothing to worry about when it comes to Planeswalkers, so you want to pick your deck based on that kind of thing. But you also draw additional cards. Your spells cost one less, which is what we're going to be taking advantage of today, as well as, to a certain extent, creatures getting +1/+1. So you might already have read the title of the video. It'd be surprising if you haven't. But we're going to be playing a massive meme today. This deck is very bad. It's an honorary mention for a mana burn deck, but I kind of feel like mana burn is basically all traditional constructed kind of decks. You know, standard, pioneer, things like that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep the mana burn just to those formats alone. But yeah, this one's definitely, it's up there on honorary mana burn member. We're going to be playing Ponza, which is Jund Land Destruction. Jund Land Destruction in a format where your opponent can play, draw 2 cards every turn, and only make 1 land drop, which is the key, which is why this deck actually can do at least a little bit. It is very much a meme, which means if you are on the draw, you have basically dropped your odds of winning by about 40%, I'd say, something like that, because you always want to be on the play. The on the play thing that you want to be doing every time is playing turn 1 Mana Dork. So we've got Elysian Caryatids, Paradise Druid, Wolf Willowhaven. We've got one of these. So this one adds 1 mana of any colour and has hexproof. It's probably one of the best to go for turn 1. We also have 1 mana of any colour, and if you've got a 4-power creature, it adds 2 mana instead. And then we've got Wolf Willowhaven, which is basically a free spell. It's 1 green mana to generate 1 green mana. So on turn 2, this is a free spell. We want to play one of these. And then on turn 2, thanks to the cost reduction from the Immortal Sun emblem and from the ramp that we have done on turn 1, we get access to what is effectively our 4-drops. So we get to either use Demolish, a 3-mana sorcery to destroy a land, a 3-mana sorcery to destroy a land and scry 2, or a 3-mana sorcery to destroy a land and stop creatures without flying from blocking. So, turn 1, we play our Mana Dork. Turn 1, they play their land. Hopefully they do nothing. Turn 2, we play our land. We blow up their first land. They're down on 0 mana. We're up on like 3 or 4. They go next turn, play their land. If they didn't play anything last turn, there's a good chance they're not going to play anything again. So they play their land. We draw 2 cards. We have enough land destruction spells in our deck. We also have Bedazzle in here, but that's late game and it's mostly removal. But honorary land destruction here. If they didn't play their 1-drop last time, they're probably not going to play it again. So we blow up their first land again, which means they're not going to do anything. Every single time we do this, every single time all they do is play a land and pass, they're going to be discarding to hand size, which means they're not going to be able to make any advantage out of the Immortal Sun emblem at all, aside from essentially filtering their current hand to be slightly better. But slightly better doesn't matter if you only ever have 1 land for the entire game. So what we're going to be doing, blowing up lands, adding to our board, blowing up lands, adding to our board. All the while, our opponent's going to be playing a land, doing nothing, discarding, playing a land, doing nothing, discarding. And eventually we want to win with things like Krenko, Tin Street Kingpin, and when we've got enough mana left over as well, our Mana Dorks are also very decent threats. This is going to be a 3-2, this is going to be a 2-2. Krenko pumps out 2-2s as well. He starts as a 2-3 who attacks as a 3-4, so he's going to be a 3-4 that makes 3 2-2s. So immediately, 1 attack from Krenko is probably going to be enough to end the game if we can manage it. We do have a little bit of a panic button with things like Storm's Wrath. I should mention as well, the reason why this is honorary mana burn is because it's very bad against the very most popular decks in this format, which are the hyper aggro Gingerbrute decks and mono red. If you see either one of those, there's a really good chance that you should just auto scoop. I do have some gameplay today that's showcasing some of those matchups as well, so it'll give you a good idea why they're a bit of a troublesome matchup and what to do if you do decide to play against them. But for the most part, I would advise just auto-scooping against them. Storm's Wrath is basically your one out against the Ginger Brute deck, which is our best option of the worst matchups. I think against Mono Red, when they've got Anax out, and all they do is make 2/2s when you destroy their board, you stand no chance. Immediately scoop to Mono Red. Don't bother. Don't waste your time. But everything else, Storm's Wrath gets to kill a lot of things. Opponents' Ginger Brute decks usually go all in, and then you blow up the board and they've got nothing left, and then from there, you eke out that value like you normally would. You blow up their lands, and usually that doesn't matter, but you use like Bedex, Lava Coils to destroy their creatures. We've even got Demolish, which kills artifacts, so this is our hard removal against the Ginger Brute deck. So we actually have a decent amount of removal against that matchup, so it's not abysmal, but it's not a great matchup either. We also have Gift of Paradise as a little bit of ramp, a bit of life gain, could be relevant, we'll see. But yeah, that's essentially the deck. We're running Blood Crypts so that we can splash for Bedazzle, just in case our opponent has non-basic lands. If they're trying to control us or something like that, play 3 colours, they're going to have a lot of shocks and taps. So getting that extra 2 damage on our opponent as well as destroying their lands is going to be very useful. Hopefully they're going to be on 2 lands anyway by the time we're on 6. So, you know, it's going to be pretty decent. All the while we're going to be beating our opponent in the face. So that's the deck. If you do enjoy the deck and you enjoy the gameplay, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for some more content like this in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button below the video or check out the Patreon link down in the description below. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, we're in, and we've got early game ramp, but we have no Ponza related stuff, and we're also on the draw, which is an automatic downside. This hand looks a lot better. Doesn't have the turn 1 mana dork, but it does have a payoff eventually. What do you dump here? You want to keep the Krenko, so you have something to do. I think it's probably just a Tectonic Rift. Got the Rubble Reading to scry to find us more of the shenanigans. More Rubble Readings there. Alright, so opponent on Fabled Passage. It's a weird inclusion. I don't think Fabled Passage is as good as maybe people think it is, because this format is very much a you win on turn 4 kind of thing. So you're never really going to have that untapped land, so it might as well even just be an Evolving Wilds after a certain amount of time. Opponent with the Paradise Druids into Watery Grave. Okay. So, what do we go with here? Do we... I think we blow up the world in this particular case. I think we have to Rubble Reading the Watery Grave. It sucks that they managed to get a Paradise Druid out, though. Yeah, I think we just have to hit their mana base and hope that they can't really do much. We'll take the Rubble Reading. And we're going to have to take a little bit of damage from the Paradise Druid, but if we are eventually drawing things like Lava Coil to force our opponent to attack with Paradise Druid, yeah, that's fine. We got extra board wipes. Oh, I keep saying board wipes. I mean land destruction. Oh, fantastic. We won. Our win con was that they saw what we were playing. Yeah. If we'd have found a Lava Coil, we basically forced them to tap down their Paradise Druid, so we can 1 mana Lava Coil plus land destruction, and then we can really get that edge on them, eventually dropping Krenko where they can't answer it, because they never have enough mana to open up a removal spell for him. And yeah, we win. We had like 3 land destruction spells there. They just... fantastic. Just couldn't handle it. Alrighty then, we're in, and we're on the play with the Dream Hand. We got turn 1 Caryatid, turn 2 land destruction. You can't get much better than that. The only thing that could really upset this is our opponent playing mono red. So, are you playing mono red, opponent? That's the question we need answering. I like the consistent land drops. I'm not too pleased about the third land, though, because we can do consistent without a third land drop, since we're drawing 2 cards a turn. We're really just banking on our opponent not having turn 1 plays consistently. So they got a forest and an incubation druid. Okay. So they are going to have a little bit of mana. But we do have consistent land drops and board wipes. I say board wipes. I'm going to always say board wipes and it's going to upset me. We're going to go with Wolf Willow Haven on this forest here. And we're going to start rubble reading our opponent's lands. I'm going to go rubble reading first because I could do with a Bedeck. And I could do with a Bedeck so I can kill their incubation druid because that's basically land destruction as well in this sense. So let's see what they can do. They've got 2 mana to play with this turn. We want to be able to stop them from using that. Beautiful. Alright. I think that probably means we win, because we've got 2... Yeah, we got 2 here for the Bedeck, and then we've got the Demolish as well. So we are going to kill the Incubation Druid, hopefully, as long as they don't have any pump spells. Which they don't, and then we're going to blow up that land, leave them completely without any resources. Yeah. That's why you want to be on the play. It's pretty much why you lose if you're not, because turn 1 Mana Dork is pretty brutal, and you need to be able to answer it. So we've got the Bedecks, which also double down as land destruction, but we've also got the Lava Coils as well, just as a catch-all to hit pretty much anything in this format that early on. So, good stuff. Alrighty then, we're in, and this is very close to the dream. If one of those mountains was a forest, then I could absolutely keep this hand without question, and it's probably an easy win, short of it being a really horrible aggro matchup for us. Because we've just got a really nice hand. We've got the turn 1 Mana Dork, turn 2 Demolish, and we go from there. Fortunately, it basically requires us to have already green in this hand, and we're not on the draw either, so just going to take a different hand. This one's not much better, honestly, but I can't see how anyone can win going much lower than that. So we'll just go Blood Crypt tapped, and we'll have to hope for the best. Opponent, have you taken a greedy hand? Plains, and if it's the Gingerbrute deck, then we're in trouble. It's a Hushbringer deck. Okay. Well, we're going to play Mountain, and we're going to pass the turn. If we care about Hushbringer, we can kill it. Otherwise, we can wait. I'm guessing this is like a Pridemate deck. So they're going to get him for 2. We're going to allow that, because this might be bait for them to drop something down that's much worse, like a Steel Overseer. And another Steel Overseer. Alright, so that needs to die. They'll get way too out of hand. We're only in the damage burn removal spell territory here, so we really just need to control our opponent's board and stop them from doing much. We can destroy the Overseer with a Demolish, but I don't think we tap out here either, because we're going to need that Bedeck. Let's go now. If they tried to do what they did last time by attacking first and then going to combat next time, then we're not going to take damage from the Overseer anyway, which is definitely my primary Bedeck target. All the Steel Overseers, eh? Yeah, this is looking really bad for us, unfortunately. So before that resolves, before they can get a counter on it, let's kill this Overseer. Yeah, you can tap it in response, if you like, and make it a 3-3 that dies instead. You did it. Congrats. And Gingerbrute. Yeah. This is second worst matchup. Second only to Mono Red. And we needed a Storm's Wrath literally there. If we'd have got Storm's Wrath there, we win. But we didn't, so guess what? I think we lose. Alright, we're going to go Wolf Willow Haven here. Play a Mountain, play a Paradise Druid. And bedeck the Steel Overseer. Hope for the best. Opponent's going to have to sink mana to push through a Ginger Brute unless they've got a All That Glitters, which I've never really seen this deck not have an All That Glitters on turn 1. So it's already a little bit of a surprise to me. I'm going to take the damage because it's Storm's Wrath or bust at this point. Hope that they commit and we draw a Storm's Wrath. We get Gift of Paradise, which is not good, and a Rubble Reading, which is also not good. Okay. So, if I went Gift of Paradise here, then I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess that's what we're doing. I think killing lands is not really what we want to do with this Demolish, so I think I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to slap the Shambling Suit up a little bit. So kill that. And then Rubble Reading can only hit lands, so we're just going to send it. It's not like we're blocking that Ginger Brute anyway. And you were looking for exactly that card. Okay. Maybe there's hope. I'm doubtful, but maybe there's hope here. What we want to see them do is commit their entire hand, if they can do it, to this board for us to Storm's Wrath them. Then we can draw maybe Krenko and go crazy. I don't think we're going to survive this turn, honestly. We're already taking 6. They only need to find 4 more points of damage, which is easily done with an All That Glitters. Ugin's Conjurant survives Storm's Wrath, and yeah, that's going to be the game. It's not an artifact either, so yeah, there's no winning here. Let's just see what we would have drawn before we lost. I don't expect to ever win this matchup, nor do I expect to win... Oh, they would have been amazing cards. I don't expect to win Mono Red or this one, to be honest, so, you know, just take it as I can. Move on. If you see these two matchups, save yourself the time and just immediately scoop. That's what I would recommend. Alrighty then, we're in. On the draw, we have no ramp, which means these are turn 3 land destruction spells. It's no-go for me, unfortunately. This one's got turn 1 ramp, and is otherwise decent. If we top deck land destruction, we might be in a good spot. We're going to go down the Blood Crypt, because we do need the green, and obviously we need the red. So, turn 1 forest. That could be okay for us here, honestly. We're going to go with Paradise Druid first. Since Wolf Willow Haven is a ramp spell that is free, but also allows us to use that mana immediately, we want to lead off with the Paradise Druids first. Dryad of the Elysian Grove to make additional land drops. Could an opponent have a better deck against us? I don't think that they could. From that wonderful piece of information, what do we want to do? Well, we definitely want to go Wolf Willow Haven. It's just completely free. I guess we just want to drop Krenko and Paradise Druid. That's really all we can do, to be honest. So let's get Krenko down. Hope that he's got the power and toughness to push through whatever our opponent's going to be doing, because he's going to go up to 4 toughness, so he can push through the Dryad, and we have these bedecks to allow us to kill other things. That is a 4/6. Well then, we've drawn pretty crappy, honestly. So what we're going to do here, I think, is we're going to go for the double bedeck. They're going to have to discard to Dream Trawler, but it will get tapped, and that allows us to attack through the Dryad and make 3 2/2s, which I think is just going to be okay. Not great, but okay. And we can do that, right? I think we can do that. Got the red. Oh, we can't do that, can we? Got red, red. No, we can't do that. I'm being silly. +3, -3 here. Yeah, we got the red, red on Mountain Paradise Druid. So they'll let this one resolve. If they don't, they're just going to save as a card. They want to make us have this other removal spell. There we go. And it's all about pumping Krenko up here rather than actually killing Dream Trawler or anything of that sort. So yeah, now they discard a Ashiok's Erasure, tapping down the Dream Trawler, allowing us to get in for 3, make 3 2/2s and go wide on this board. Storm's Wrath's not looking too great right now, but now we're attacking for 4 generating 2/2s, which is not too bad at all. Dream Trawler does get to gain them life, but I think that the exponential growth of this Krenko is going to be decent enough if we can answer this board state of life linkers that are slightly bigger than my Krenko. You love to see it, don't you? You absolutely love to see it. Well, it's a Demolish. And another Demolish. That's really, really unfortunate. So what we were hoping for there is an ability to just kill Archons when they block our 2/2s with things like more Bedazzles and Lava Coils. We didn't get that, so that's a problem. Alright, well, we're going to have to destroy an artifact or land, which is going to be, I think, the blue source. So we'll get rid of that. They're hitting us for a lot here, so... I don't know. Let's swing. Leave back the Paradise Druids just in case we want a Storm's Wrath and send a message. The message being, don't mess with Krenko. Alright, nothing dies. Mine does, though. And then we die. Because they've got enough flyers in the air to kill us. So, yeah, next game. Alrighty then, we're in. We have no turn 1 mana dork. But we would if this was a green source. But we have to mull, because it's just unkeepable. This is exactly what we want to see. And we're going to get rid of the Bedazzle here, because in theory, we shouldn't really have to worry about what our opponent's doing at all. We're going to go with Paradise Druid first, so that if we do draw the land for the Rubble Reading, we can guarantee that we can cast it. If we go in with the Caryatid, there's a chance that they go turn 1 drop, and then play something that removes our mana dork, stopping us doing what we want to do. And we don't want that. Opponent on Discovery Dispersal, playing what appears to be like Esper Reanimator. They're going to have a bad time, is what they're going to do. Because we're going to get rid of their lands. And we just want to bottom anything that's not land destruction, because we really want to keep up with the destruction plan here. Should it come to it, though, we do have Krenko plus Paradise Druid, and we can start pushing through. We've put our opponent in a position where they're now discarding to hand size, and they need to spend next turn answering my Krenko. And we got a Demolish, okay. So instead of wiping our opponent's board, instead of playing into this board, I think we might as well just take this opportunity to kill their next land, while we also ramp up and allow us to do maybe some cool stuff next turn. So we're going to go Blood Crypt with Wolf Willow Haven, and I'm just going to blow up that Tranquil Cove. So all they're going to be able to do is play a 1-drop next turn, or discard to hand size when they don't draw lands. You get a lot of this, is what it comes to. So it's really good as a grind deck for the next 24 hours. Because some people just ain't got no time for what we're doing. Just strip mining them every single turn. As soon as their first turn, they get to play absolutely nothing. It's beautiful, but it's very irritating. I understand why our opponents want to leave. But yeah, that's why this video is probably going to be pretty short as well. Alrighty then, we're in, and we got the turn 1 land destruction, turn 2 land destruction spell, sorry, off of Paradise Druid. So we're going to keep this one. If it is an aggro matchup, there's a chance that this Storm's Wrath's going to be pretty useful as well, and we might want to go Wolf Willow Haven instead, so that we're not opening up our own creatures to a board wipe here. So yeah, this looks like a great Storm's Wrath matchup here. So long as we don't see all the glitters, we should be okay. Which they don't have in their hand right now, because I don't think there's much reason for them to not play it right there. Okay, so let's see. We're going to have to shock ourselves if we don't want to play our Paradise Druid. And then we're going to have to shock ourselves again. I think it's not worth the 2 damage, so I think I'm just going to play a Paradise Druid here, which almost forces our opponent maybe not to attack, and might save us a little bit of life there as well. If they pay all their mana just to protect their Ginger Brutes and make them unblockable, that's also fine by me. But what we really want to see here is our opponent completely emptying their hand with their 2 mana. There's a lot of 0 mana spells in their deck, so it's definitely possible. It's full-on affinity for them. But this is one of those situations where Storm's Wrath is really just only our good card, to be honest. So, we'll see. They just want to lose their stuff. Well, I'm fine blocking. Gideon's Triumph. Wow. Okay. That's a first. Okay, then. Yeah, we got Gift of Paradise. Alright, so we are going to have to shock ourselves. We're going to have to go Stomping Ground. Play Wolf Willow Haven on Forest. And then we can actually go Gift of Paradise as well. To gain life back from that damage. And we'll stick it on... We'll stick it on this Forest. It just turns this one into a land destruction spell all on its own. It'll be generating 3 mana. Maybe our opponent commits a little bit to this board as well, which would be nice. Shadow Spear is only going to turn these Ginger Brutes into 3/3s. This one 4 toughness on the puppet, so everything's still going to die to Storm's Wrath here, so it might be pretty good for us. This is one of those situations where this is not a completely lost matchup from turn 1. Okay, we got a Deck Bedazzle and a Demolish, which allows us to attack their creatures quite nicely. So we're going to go Storm's Wrath. There is no response to this. You can sack their puppets to make them 1/1s, and then they die instead. And these are taps to gain life, and it's 2 mana, so there's really nothing they can do here. It's the ETB on the puppet that makes it useful. So completely wipe our opponent's board. Play a Paradise Druid to ramp up a little bit. We might actually be able to Tech Edge. I say Tech Edge. It's basically Tech Edge and Demolish on the same turn here. Or we could actually use our Bedazzle, or our Bedeck specifically here, to keep our opponent's board clear and allow us to maybe progress the board a little bit. So they're going to equip the Steel Overseer on their turn. It's going to be pretty much a waste of mana, but I'm assuming that they realise that there's actually nothing that they can do with that mana to begin with. So I'm just going to kill the Steel Overseer. They need a God's Willing for this. And I doubt they have it. Nope. And from there, we're going to go Rubble Reading their land. Don't care about the Shadow Spear. I'm going to use the Demolish as a hard removal spell for what they've got here. And I think we just take all of this, honestly. Doesn't matter what order. We're drawing 2 cards next turn. Yeah, I think removal plus mana disruption is going to be really useful here. We're attacking for 6 damage. This could be a win. It's going to be a hard-fought victory, but if it does happen, then we've got it. Alright, so this is a situation where the Demolish is going to be very useful, because it's obviously going to be a little bit too big to Deck Bedazzle and to Lava Coil, should we have had it. So now we just get to destroy the artifact. There goes Shambling Suit. Opponent's going to take 6. We're going to Rubble Reading. Get rid of a land. And just set up more removal spells. I don't think Storm's Wrath is really what we want in this situation. We really just want to push through our opponent any way we can. So we want to find Lava Coils and more Bedazzles. We have answers to 1 creature at a time. This also stops creatures without flying from blocking as well, which could be very useful. Eidolon of Obstruction, that's a first. But lucky us, we have the answer to it. So, kill that. And kill that. We're never pinching our opponent's mana, so we're only going to use like our land destruction spells here if it's something like a Rubble Reading to allow us to scry, or if we've got nothing better to do. Unfortunately, for us, we had something better to do, which was to attack for 6 there and go for the win. So this is one of those situations where we Rubble Reading, digging purely for removal at this point, so anything that's not that is dead to us. And I think we've got the win here purely on the fact that we're going to take our opponent really low on life. Gideon's Triumph. Okay, they got another one. Don't tell me you got another. Okay. Well, maybe there is some hope for them, because Tectonic Rift does allow us to attack in unblockable and get rid of a land. So we're going to use that next turn. Opponent paying their mana to remove my Paradise Druid's hexproof ability. Wow. It already wasn't hexproof, opponent. But that's okay. And this is where we whiff and lose. I'm used to this by now. Land Destruction's not going to do out, but the Storm's Wrath might be very useful here. If our opponent draws like 2 creatures, we get to blow up the board. They make their land drop. And pass. We got land, which is horrible. Rubble Reading, which is decent. So, kill a land. We're looking for threats now. Bedazzle is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Then again, we have got the Storm's Wrath, which can hit anything Bedeck can hit. So I think I'd rather find something like my Krenko or more mana dorks. Tap land, say go. Got more mana than we can ever use at this point. Eidolon of Obstruction. It's going to be 3 toughness. And opponent passing. We got our Krenko. Alright, so we're going to Storm's Wrath Krenko. Ah, we also have Lava Coil. Okay. I think we still go Storm's Wrath. Primarily because we can Lava Coil with Krenko on board and not have too much trouble. So let's get rid of the Eidolon. Let's go Krenko. We still have the Tectonic Rift that stops creatures without flying from blocking. So that's an actual option available to us next turn. We need them to not have Glass Caskets and Gideon's Triumphs now. Is really what it comes down to. Well, lucky me, they did. This is the first of this deck that I've seen that runs any removal whatsoever. Never seen them really care at all about what you're doing. So, yeah, I think their hand's just jam-packed full of removal now. Another Eidolon. It's dead. We've already got the answer for it. We got a Paradise Druid, which is an attacker. And a Tectonic Rift. Okay, so we're going to play our Paradise Druid. Going to play our Lava Coil. The Hexproof's not going to stop them from removing my Paradise Druid here, unfortunately. Since they do have the Shadow Spear. But if we had to demolish, I don't feel like it's really worth hitting that Shadow Spear at any point during this game for that reason. Especially now where Glass Casket is actually just a better demolish target. There's Ancestral Blade. Okay. It is a blocker. but it cannot block if we choose to stop it. Please, come on, one good draw. This is actually win or loss territory. Okay. Hope has been restored. We have the answer to the token. But now they could probably pump their creatures through my removal. So it's a case of, does this Tectonic Rift work? Can I get in a successful hit with my Paradise Druid? Because they don't get to attack here unless they had a Ginger Brute. So they weren't going to be gaining life. So now they've got a 5/5. This feels like this is all they've got. And this is going to be the key to victory right here. I mean, Krenko is a good draw if it's not the key to victory. But creatures without flying cannot block. Do you have a removal spell for Paradise Druid? At this point, Gideon's Triumph has been the only card we've seen them be able to use. And we got it! Wow. Wow. That is usually an unwinnable matchup. And it definitely looked there like we were not going to be getting any sort of victory. We probably drew way too many lands over the long period of time, but we did start with a hand originally that was very much gas. So there's one trap you can kind of fall into when you feel like you're kind of getting screwed over, and I'm definitely guilty of doing this as well. I'm sure you could go back to pretty much any video of me complaining about getting mana flooded or anything like that. If you haven't been mana flooded in the early game, you're almost guaranteed later on in the game to get flooded. So if you're having a really good start, there's a chance that you're going to lose that value because your bad draws are still waiting for you in your deck. And usually they love to come in big clumps. But you know what? That was close enough that I think that was an absolute gold standard game right there. Really enjoyed that. Lots of back and forth. And it's from a deck that usually we would lose against as well. So who'd have thunk it? Our best matchup was actually our worst matchup. Our second worst, anyway. Mono Red's pretty grim. Mono Red's unwinnable. I'm pretty sure it's completely unwinnable. Short of you getting that turn 1 board wipe and them not having 1-drops in their deck. Which just doesn't happen, so... Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. It is a bit of a meme. I wouldn't recommend building this unless you got the pieces, but I suppose... It's pretty budget, right? It's pretty budget. Let's have a look. I think we got a pack to open as well, so we can do that. Yeah, 5th win of the day with this deck. Why the hell not? Yeah, we got 2 packs to open, so let's do it. From Throne of Eldraine, we have Gems. What a surprise. And from Theros Beyond Death, we do not have Gems. Do we have anything good, though? Shatter the Sky. Wonderful. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this deck's relatively budget. I mean, the whole actual land destruction package is very much budget. So you got your mana base. Your Bedazzles are definitely something you want. You could probably replace them with something, but there's less land destruction spells. I've not noticed too many non-basics in this format, honestly. And you got your Krenkos, and that's really it. Yeah, that's your rare package right there. It's not too bad, actually. It's relatively budget. And I'm sure you'll have all opened up your land destruction spells and had absolutely no reason to use them. Because outside of this format, they are very much not Stone Rains, so, you know, it's a problem. But yeah, I'd say you could probably find something other than Krenko to fling out at your opponent, maybe even something like Questing Beast. I just thought Krenko would be a little bit more fun for the deck and the strategy. It's very much kind of like a red prison in like Legacy and things like that, where they get Rabble Masters out and things like that. You could put the War Boss in here instead, but I think that the ability to grow Krenko when your opponent can't deal with it is a little bit better for like burn-related removal spells. If they're trying to get their mana up to kill something, then it's better when it has higher toughness later when they draw that removal spell, rather than it consistently having a low damage output. I don't know. I think Krenko is just pretty decent in this scenario. I did used to have Arasta, I think she's called, the Spider Lady. Arasta, yeah. Used to have this one in here as well, because you can get this one down on turn 3, and if your opponent tries to remove it, you get some 2/3, essentially, and it's got a big booty, so it's pretty cool. But I ended up cutting it just to go for a cheaper curve and go a little bit more all-in, which definitely means that you've got less chances of winning on the draw, than you would otherwise, I guess. But, you know, I'm really happy with this deck. As terrible as it is, it's a lot of fun. Recommend checking it out if you've got the cards, but honestly, I would not use this necessarily to win unless you're planning on doing your dailies, and then you can just auto-scoop the on-the-draw scenarios, because they're not as easy as they are on the play. On the play, guaranteed you always want to have turn 1 Mana Dork, turn 2 Stone Rain. That's always what you want. Nothing else. If you can't do that, mull it. If you can't do it after that, scoop. It's one of those kind of decks anyway. It's very bad. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed my ramblings for some reason. And yeah, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you did for more content like this in the future. I'm hoping that this event comes back again. This one was actually quite sweet. Other than the fact that Mono Red and the Ginger Brute deck really just dominate and they're all over the place, which ruins it a little bit. I think that everything else in the format is very entertaining to play against. Even the turn 1 Raise the Alarms, turn 2 Raise the Alarms, turn 3 Loxodon is it's pretty obnoxious, but I kind of find it funny. As someone who enjoys watching a little bit of Legacy content, I kind of got that vibe from this format. So, you know, this format's for me, and I imagine it's not for everyone else. But yeah, if you enjoyed it and you want to see more of it, let me know down in the comment section below. But other than that, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.